Just say a little hello in the chat if you haven't already. We are going to get started. So, hello to everyone who is joining us today. Thank you so much for being here. And a big hello to everyone who is watching the replay as well. So today we are going to learn exactly how to stop people-pleasing behaviors and start being fully confident, motivated, and balanced. If you are struggling with the internal exhaustion that comes from constantly doing everything for everyone except yourself, then you are in the right place. My name is Raina Sweeney, and I'm an ICF certified professional coach specializing in people-pleasing burnout with over 15 years of experience coaching people just like you. You may not know this, but there is a huge misconception about what it means to be a people pleaser and how it relates to burnout. So first, let's just take a moment to acknowledge that none of this is our fault. We simply grew up in a society that instilled and forced people-pleasing upon us. I'm sure they probably didn't know it either, though. So we're supposed to be the good girls, the good wife, or the good husband. But what do all of these have in common? The requirement that you give up what you want and need for those around you. We have been trained to be human givers, as the book Burnout by the Nagoski sisters puts it. If you haven't read it, pick it up. It's great. So keep in mind that what I'm about to cover has been put on us. We didn't consciously choose to be this way or put ourselves in this cycle of depletion. And there is a way out of this cycle too, which I'll share with you later on. So, many people pleasers confuse people pleasing with kindness or thinking they don't want to be selfish or they want to be a good person. People pleasers tend to do anything possible to avoid conflict, even if it means turning into an entirely different person. Their worth depends on how others see them. People pleasers need validation from others to feel good about themselves. Remember, this is not their fault. They are raised and trained to be this way, and we can reverse this. Now, what do we mean when we talk about burnout? So the burnout that we're talking about here today is the burnout that comes from being everything to everyone, feeling like you are pulled in a million different directions at once, and the fear that comes from somebody else or the potential of someone else finding out that you just can't do it all. So you push and you push and you push just a little harder to be exactly what everyone else needs in every moment. But in the process, you leave yourself behind and end up feeling exhausted, feeling alone inside, and like you're never quite enough. This is true, deep burnout. Today, I'm going to share with you why you don't need to be perfect, constantly improve yourself, or try to do it all on your own. And how I was able to go from extreme people-pleasing burnout to the confident, motivated, and balanced person you see in front of you today, without having to do more or be more. And I'll walk you through it. First, I'll share the 3 secrets to getting rid of people-pleasing behaviors once and for all. So, secret number 1 is getting rid of burnout from people pleasing without having to do more by calming the nervous system. Secret number 2 is even if you think you have to be your best self before you can experience true confidence, motivation, and balance in your life, you can still recharge from burnout, and specifically the burnout that comes from people pleasing, and be confident, be motivated, be balanced right now. Secret number 3, you can save yourself from people-pleasing behaviors so you never have to read all the books or try to figure this out on your own ever again. Deep sigh of relief. But before we get into the nitty-gritty details, let me share how I actually discovered this. So I, just like you, had strived for so long to be everything to everyone that I had completely lost myself. I would look at myself in the mirror each morning, not recognizing the person staring back at me. She was a shapeshifter, molding herself into whoever anyone else needed her to be. Sure, people liked her and they felt very connected to her, supported by her, loved by her, but she felt empty and disconnected and scattered and terrified that someone was going to find out the real her. So I kept on shape-shifting to fit into everyone else's needs. One day, I couldn't get out of bed. The sparkle, the charisma, and the I can do anything attitude was gone. I mean, completely gone. It felt as though there was a void in its place. I laid there for days, but it seemed like months. I couldn't move. I couldn't do. All that was left was to simply be. I realized I had created a life where I felt like no one really knew me deep down inside. I didn't even know me deep down inside. I reached out for help, but everyone just wanted me to talk it out. Take some pills and put that smile back on your face. Side note, there is nothing wrong with taking pills. They work. They just aren't the entire story. So I started desperately searching for answers. I studied nutrition, brain chemistry, meditation, communication, supplementation, therapy modalities, acupressure, internal family systems, the mind-body connection, hormones, you name it. I studied it and tried it. Step by step, little by little, over 15 years, I finally found something that brought me back to me. And it not only worked for me, but it worked for my clients too. So let's get into the details of how to make this happen for yourself. Let's start with secret number 1, getting rid of the burnout that comes from people-pleasing behaviors without having to do more by calming the nervous system. So most likely you've heard of fight or flight. It's a very, very common thing these days to hear about that. So often when we have a stressful childhood, either from parents who are trying their best, but couldn't give us what we needed in the moment, or from a traumatic childhood event or experiences, our brain stays in fight or flight for so long that it forgets how to relax and believe that it's safe. It's constantly looking around the corner for the next danger or stressor or waiting for the bottom to fall out. And if we could just be enough, do enough, say everything right, then everything would be okay. We'd be safe. This keeps our autonomic nervous system stuck in fight or flight mode almost 24/7. Not sleeping well? That could be why. So, how do we bring our body and brain out of fight or flight mode? We do it with this 3-step trust cycle system. First, we assess your perception of who you are and how you move through the world with an Energy Leadership Assessment Index. This shows us your specific beliefs about yourself and the world around you, and how they are holding you back and keeping you feeling stuck. Then we remove those blocks and limiting beliefs and replace them with a belief system that supports you and the life that you want. Second, we dive deep into your core values to make sure that you are in alignment with your belief system and what you value most. Now, most people think they know what their values are, but they don't know why they value them, where they came from, or how they are affecting their life. This is crucial because people pleasers tend to grow up in households that are very strict, critical, or had high achieving expectations. This can be dangerous since we derive the majority of our core values from our family and adolescent years. This means that if we are running off those passed down values that created the deep need to avoid judgment and criticism at all costs, then we create a life where we are constantly shape-shifting to please those around us. This is really important, so I'm going to say it again. When we're adolescents, we are being taught our family values by the adults around us. We learn to live our lives by those values to fit in and function well within our family. As we grow up, this becomes the norm. Then, by the time we are adults, those same values have become ingrained in us, and we think they are who we are and how we must function in the world. We are running off the same values and beliefs that created the deep need to constantly be and do everything in order to keep the peace and get external validation to know that we are good. Once we align our core values, our true core values, then we are free to be ourselves without fear of judgment, without fear of rejection. This creates a deep calm within. The third step in creating the trust cycle and getting your brain out of fight or flight is we take your true core values and create reliable, sustainable boundaries. Yes, ones that we can actually keep this time. We've all heard the word boundaries thrown around, but do we really know what they mean and why we need them? A lot of us think that boundaries tell people how and who they can be around us. We've used them as weapons to try to change someone, or we've expected others to adhere to our boundaries and don't understand why they keep pushing past the boundaries we set for them. The truth is that boundaries are not for other people, they are for ourselves. I'll repeat that. Boundaries are not for other people, they are for ourselves. Boundaries teach us where and with whom we want to spend our time and energy with. And if a situation, job, or experience is in alignment with us or not. So, for instance, your boss keeps asking you to work late every night for a few hours. You've told them that you can't keep working late because you have other family obligations, but they keep asking, and we keep staying late. And we might go home and complain to our family and friends that we keep trying to set boundaries at work, but our boss just keeps pushing past them. Eventually, this will feel very offensive because we believe that we have set a boundary and that our boss doesn't respect our core value of family. However, each time we stay late, we are expressing to our boss that we don't mean what we say. We are also operating out of alignment with our core value of family. Stating a line and expecting someone else to respect that line is not actually setting a boundary. Instead, setting a boundary looks like this. Boss says, we're going to have to work late again tonight. We say, actually, I've expressed to you a couple times now that I have family obligations and I'm not able to work late. With that in mind, I'm really excited to work on this project, and I'll give you an update when I leave work at 5 o'clock today. Then I'll pick up where we left off tomorrow morning. Moving forward, I will only be able to stay late for about 2 hours every other Tuesday. Another example, we've told the new person we're dating that when they show up without communicating, that they're going to be late. And we tell them that it makes us worry. And we tell them that it makes us feel like they don't care when they don't communicate with us. But they think that we are blowing it out of proportion and ignore our request to text or call if they're going to be late again. This then leads to arguments and us shoving our feelings deep down inside to please the other person and keep the peace. While it may feel like we have set a boundary with our new beau, we are not actively honoring our core value of communication because we keep choosing to spend time with someone who doesn't value communication at all. So, what does setting a boundary in this circumstance look like? Maybe the first time we simply tell them how it makes us feel and ask for what we need. Communication. If they continue to show up late and not communicate, then this is our signal that this person is not in alignment with our core values and therefore isn't somebody to expend a lot of energy on. What do each of these situations have in common? Yes, that's right. We started with the expectation that the other person is responsible for holding our boundary simply because we've told them about it. However, holding clear boundaries often means that we have to take action to align our behaviors with our core values. Remember, we can only control our actions, not others. Once we do the work to determine our core values, we can begin to hold our own boundaries. This allows us to move from people-pleasing behaviors to replenishment. Our body begins to replenish itself from the exhaustion from being everything to everyone. Once we start living our life this way, our entire life begins to align with our core values, increasing satisfaction and balance in all aspects of our life. So let's recap this 3-step process of the trust cycle. 1, we assess your perception of yourself and the world around you to break through limiting beliefs. 2, exploring your core values, why you value them, where they came from, and how they're affecting your life. 3, creating and holding healthy boundaries. These 3 begin the trust cycle within yourself and calms your nervous system naturally. Once this trust cycle is established, your body automatically comes out of fight or flight and into the parasympathetic system, or the relaxed and calm state where confidence, motivation, and balance live. Notice how none of this has to do anything with you becoming your best version of you or being perfect at everything. None of this says you have to be perfect before you can experience true confidence, motivation, and balance in your life. You can still release yourself from the burnout that comes from people-pleasing behaviors without having to be perfect at anything. Where does the need for perfectionism come from anyway? At its root, it's a fear of judgment or disapproval from others, hence the people-pleasing. Early childhood experiences, such as having parents or caregivers with unrealistically high expectations, or they were highly critical, shaming, or abusive, instills a need to be perfect to protect ourselves. Or on the flip side, getting excessive praise for our achievements, believing our self-worth is determined by our achievements, or black and white thinking that affects and the efforts to feel in control to ensure a good outcome are all roots of perfectionism or the need to people please. And we do that to protect ourselves from the harm, judgment, and disapproval of those around us. Like I said, this is not our fault. And it doesn't have to be this way. The trust cycle also includes diving into these childhood, less than supportive moments and healing them so that they release you from their grasp and allow you to live in this moment. When the trust cycle begins, these fears automatically melt away and confidence in yourself and who you are can then blossom and grow, taking over the negative self-talk and replacing it with compassion, understanding, and acceptance for yourself and who you are at your core. So you never have to feel guilty for asking for what you want and need, or not doing everything for everyone else. Also, you don't have to read a million books like I did, trying to grasp for little nuggets here and there that might work or halfway work, only end up feeling more confused years later, or worse, believe that nothing's going to work for you. That's countless of hours spent trying to find the answers when all of your answers are right here. I've done the research, lived through it, and then used the tools and knowledge I've gathered with clients, and I've had incredible results to prove that this works. If you'd like to see some of the testimonials that we've had so far, these incredible results, feel free to click on this link on the screen and I'll keep it up just for a little bit here. So if you had the choice between trying to do this all by yourself without any guidance and having someone who has already done it time and time again help you, guide you, work with you to get the results, which would you choose? Type 1 in the comments or the chat if you'd prefer to go it alone. Type 2 in the chat if you would rather have help and guidance. Awesome. Yes, I see a lot of 2s coming in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good. I see a ton of 2s. That's absolutely wonderful. Now, how would you like to know what it would look like to have that guidance and support? Would you like that? Type 2 again in the chat if you are okay with me showing you an offer I put together to help you break free from the cycle of people-pleasing behaviors and learn to embrace your own true confidence, lasting motivation, and calming balance in your life. Yeah, awesome. Good. So a lot of 2s coming back in. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me the space to show you what I've put my heart and soul into. So if you want to finally have the confidence in yourself instead of always doubting yourself, this is the program for you. Now, there's 2 different options to choose from. The first option is a one-on-one customized coaching program catering to your specific needs. Option number 2 is our group coaching trust cycle program, where you learn, practice, and master everything we've covered here today. You not only get unique attention placed on you every session, you also get an online platform for extra support between our sessions to ensure that this program works for you. This is not a course where you watch a bunch of videos and you hope for results, okay? That's not what this is. You will be able to ask questions in real time and get live weekly coaching on your personal situation. So, what's the first step? It's to simply say yes to yourself. To give yourself the love and support that you so freely give to others. To turn all that caring love and compassion back around and take the first step to learning how to please yourself instead of being drained by pleasing everyone else around you. It's exhausting. I know. I've been there. Allow yourself to be released from its grasp. Allow yourself to say, yes, I am worth this. And book a come as you are call with me right now. I'll put the link up on the screen for you. Go ahead and click on that link and schedule your call right now. I'll also put this link in our comments so that you have access to it there. But don't wait, because this program, don't wait to book, because this program that will teach you exactly how to release yourself from the exhaustion of people pleasing and allowing yourself to step into true confidence, motivation, and balance only has 4 spots left. And I want to make sure that you get in, because you are worth it. You are worth it. So click the link and reserve your spot right now. There's no pressure to sign up, no sales gimmicks, no inflated prices, just pure guidance and support that you've been longing for. Even if you are still a little unsure or just have some questions about what we covered today, book that call so I can answer those questions and clarify anything for you. I am truly here to support you in any way I can. So click the link and schedule right now. In fact, if you are still here and you've watched this long, I know I can support you in your healing journey. Sometimes it's really hard to take that first step, and that's okay. But if you're here with me right now, I encourage you to allow yourself to take that first step and simply book a call with me. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to hear all about it. Thank you to everyone who has showed up today, not only to this webinar, but for yourself. Regardless of what happens from here on out, each and every one of you should be proud that you showed up and are willing to do what it takes to make the changes that you need. I can't wait to meet you. And better yet, I bet you can't wait to meet your true self. Thank you for joining us.